The Tuesday edition of Chicken Dinner. Joe Ostrowski, Sam Panayotovich. We feel the love. Thanks for checking in here as we approach the mid portion of the week. Tomorrow I'll be back with Horvey, but we promise more content. Ooh, look at that subscribed. I like it. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button over on YouTube and you're subscribed to Bet Chicken Dinner. See a lot of people checking in via the podcast as well. We love it, Sam. And we are now sitting here on this Tuesday. We are down to 8 teams left. And I want to go over Super Bowl odds, conference odds, Super Bowl MVP. We'll get to that coming up. But a lot of times going into weekends in the NFL, we talk about trends or things are just out there in the ether and it's talked about and then it's repeated. Does it mean anything? I don't know. But hey, this is an impressive number, so a lot of people maybe throw it out there to sound a little impressive. One thing that gets talked about the first weekend of the NFL playoffs all the time, and it was going on again, and I brought it up too, but I think we should kind of revisit it. Is this something that should go away? Because I'm leaning towards that. And neither of us are big trends players, but this is something that is talked about a ton because the game gets more physical. Everything's faster. We saw that on Wild Card Weekend. NFL playoff debutantes. Quarterbacks in the playoffs for their first time. For many years, for decades, it has been a play against spot. And I kind of wondered last week in our preview of these games, if with these specific quarterbacks, it is a play against spot. I did not handicap in any way involving it, but I did hear a lot of people throw it out. And I thought the number was interesting to pass along to the people, but I didn't use it in any handicap. Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, they all covered. 2 of them won. Almost all 3 won. If that third one, Bryce Young, would have won, he would have won as a double-digit dog. Is it time to take this trend that so many people talk about and just throw it in the dumpster?
Potentially, although we'd never rush to a 3-game sample size and think that that is absolute. Of course, that's not how we're wired. I think some people in this space go, oh, well, this has happened in 4 straight games. It'll happen in the 5th. That's not usually the case. I think we have to pay more attention to how good the quarterback play was. Mm-hmm. Now, for Caleb, it wasn't 4 quarters, obviously, but it was elite in the 4th quarter, specifically at the end of the 4th quarter. Drake did enough against a very good Chargers defense, but that touchdown pass was elite. And then Bryce Young puts up, 30-plus points against the LA Rams. So, it's hard to look at a very small sample size and get way too excited. I just think the quarterback play is so much better, and it's way better for young quarterbacks than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. These quarterbacks have just seen so much more, and the cream does tend to rise. But it's funny, you go back to last year, and one of my biggest playoff bets was against Bo Nix in Buffalo, which ironically enough, we're going to see this weekend when the Bills go to Denver and face the Broncos. It wasn't my sole reason for betting Buffalo, but it was the cherry on top of the sundae. Oh, well, it's Bo Nix on the road making his first ever start. The other thing, too, Young was at home, Caleb was at home, May was at home. Usually the debutantes are on the road.
Yep. That is certainly a fair point. And another guy that started his playoff career last year, Jaden Daniels. And look at Washington ended up doing. That is also a cautionary tale. Be careful if you think you're going to be in the playoffs forever. Be careful if you got your guy and, life is great now in the NFL. You never know in this league. I'm glad you brought up larger samples, so I should pay that off because I started thinking about this because there was a stat over a number of seasons that popped to me, and so I added the results this year with these quarterbacks making their first start in the playoffs. Now it's the last 4 seasons, so this is 17 debuts. They are 8-9 straight up, 10-7 against the spread. A bit of a larger sample. It doesn't tell you everything. It's 17 games. But I I think you're right. It's about the quarterback. It's about the matchup. Like, look at the guys that we're talking about. Bryce Young, number 1 overall. Caleb Williams, number 1 overall. Drake May, 3rd. And then last year, Jaden Daniels was the number 2 pick. Maybe that 2024 quarterback class goes down as one of the all-timers because part of this sample includes trash quarterbacks. And I think that's where a lot of the wins ATS came from. You have backups, you get injuries going on, and then people are like, oh, see, first start in the playoffs, they can't handle it. I don't think that's the case. It is a case-by-case basis.
It certainly is. I feel so bad for Jeff Schwartz, though, because our Instagram, the Bear Bets Pod Instagram, took a video of Jeff on the last show saying the Patriots are Fugazi. And
did he not say that? Or why?
He did say it. No, okay. He said it, but all the Patriot fans before the game were saying Jeff doesn't know ball. He's never watched a game, yada, yada, yada. And then the Chargers score 3 points. So now everybody is revisiting the video and just teeing off. And the comments are so mean. It is wild, though, because, look, I never thought the Chargers had a chance to win the game after you watched their O-line. I mean, it was very obvious the Patriots were likely going to win. But to be that cocky and boastful when it was 9-3 in the fourth quarter, I never understand that. I never do.
Something else that we overlooked in the Sunday night show. Look, it's a long weekend of football. There are certain things that are going to slip our mind, but I think are worth revisiting. I got a text from Horvey this morning. Didn't blank have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl as his last pick? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you want me to say?
Oh, it's just funny. It's just funny. Just keep adding teams. So if you lost all your picks going into the divisional round, you add. Are we adding still?
No, I'm not adding. I'm adding nothing. And you know what else I didn't bring up yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
My prediction in August was Buffalo over San Francisco. I never thought after all the injuries on the San Francisco side, the Niners would win a road playoff game. And we saw the sharpest people in the world laying 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. It's very rare that a team that's on the other end of that avalanche from Wise Guys wins the game outright. But, I mean, you got one bracket going into the season or one prediction, and it's Buffalo, San Francisco. To have the path for the Bills, they're favored to win the AFC, and have San Francisco still alive in the Final Four, I'm proud of myself. And I fully expect it also to crash and burn, but that's life.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from on that. No, good on you. And look, I have not been huge on a Super Bowl pick. It's been a challenging year. I think it's just wide open where anybody can win. And I've made some bad selections like most people. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be one winner in the very end. But if you were to ask me here, I don't want to take anything away from you because you have been screaming from the mountaintops for a number of months. Bills, like I went into Bills Jaguars. Okay, the winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl from the AFC. The way this is lining up, I still agree with that. I agree with you, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, the Bills are my pick. No, that is your pick. You were out there. You were out in front of it very early on. So it looks good right now. Best of luck to you moving forward. And I'm sure later in the show, Josh Allen's name will come up when it comes to the Super Bowl MVP numbers. A comment on Spotify that I did want to mention. Listener Brandon is here, and he says, another great episode, entertaining, informative as always. And he's talking about being a devoted listener on the radio show. So glad that we keep it going. And now he's checking it out on Spotify whenever we have a new episode. Brandon adds, admittedly, I do miss Jake, which made me think. I'm sure a lot of people missed it because it was, I think, Christmas when we had Jake on the show. We should get Jake on and talk a little baseball because now we're finally getting some moves. The Cubs have made two big moves. Two decent-sized moves, but one a monster one for them paying Bregman $175 million. I do think it's funny, the connection with you, because you living in Boston. That's where Bregman was last year. The Cubs were trying to get him a year ago. Instead, they get him this time around, and now he's coming to Chicago for 5 years, $175. What did you think about that Cubs signing?
I like it. Bregman's very good in the locker room. That much is obvious. And I think the Red Sox fans are very upset because now Bregman's not there to help bring along the Roman Anthonys of the world. Because at once upon a time, Bregman was one of these young phenoms that needed not guidance, but just a little help along the way, right? When times are going tough, when you're 22, 23 and you hit a slump, when you have a bad road trip, you need that vet in the locker room. And that's something that the Red Sox really liked last year. Now, you ask a Bostonian, they're going to let John Henry have it, who's just not spending money on the baseball team. I mean, that's...
I saw Hogdale go off.
Hogdale.
Your guy.
Peter Griffin. So I like it for the Cubs. I don't think it's very complex in Boston. They're just not spending money. And I've talked about my theory on Fenway Sports, and I can say this now because I don't work for Fenway Sports anymore. They have just been trying to build a portfolio. That much is obvious. Anybody can see that. But their grand plan, I was told long ago, was that when they brought LeBron on as an investor, the end game there is to get an NBA team. And they were interested in the Celtics, but I don't think that ever really made sense from a dollars and cents standpoint. And they've also gone to different places. Like they went to Pittsburgh to get the Penguins. They've gone across the pond to get Liverpool. They want to be in Vegas. And when LeBron retires, that group wants to go in there and own the Vegas basketball team. So they're not spending money on the Red Sox anymore because they don't have to. The fans, they were fourth in attendance last year. Mm-hmm. Why would you spend $170 million when you don't have to?
Bregman last year, 114 games, a 3.5 WAR player. So they're obviously hoping, hey, if he's a 4-win player for us, that'd be just fine. They add Cabrera. I mentioned that. They make that trade for a few prospects. So the Cubs are making moves. They're getting better. The National League odds, I see it anywhere between plus 750 and plus 1,000. The Cubs are the 5th favorite in the National League. And then the World Series range is 15 to 20 to 1. We're not there yet on the win totals. We have to wait on that. Don't see any division odds posted either. Maybe there's one book or so, but the market is not up for the division odds. Looking forward to the win totals. I would think they're probably going to be co-favorites with Milwaukee, and I believe that was the case going into last season.
So I do see odds at FanDuel for the divisions, and they've got the Cubs plus 120, Milwaukee 2-1.
Really, that much of a gap? That's surprising because they're very close. I think they're neck and neck in many of the National League odds. So I thought they would be a lot closer. They know the Cubs' money's coming in. And people doubt the Brewers every single year, and they're probably going to find a way to do it this year again because the Cubs are going to be the hot team, and they're the ones people are talking about right now. It is a pretty strong lineup. You had Bregman, and you think of that defense, it was already strong, Sam. Now you get Bregman and Swanson playing next to each other.
You're going to see a lot of these books, too. They're going to open the Cubbies in the low 90s, like 90.5, 91, 91.5. That's where you're going to see the win total, my guess, when you start to see the numbers pop at DK and FanDuel and MGM and Caesars. That's the guess. But you're right. The Cubs are sort of a magnet for money every year, every offseason. And the Brewers have always they've always been this team where the market's like, all right, prove it to me again. You know, there's more doubt around Milwaukee. There's much more support for Chicago.
100%. And can you pull up the divisional odds, the 3 matchups that we have at the time of this recording for the NFL playoffs? Because it looks like, you know, we were recording late Sunday night, right after Sunday Night Football wrapped, and the market was starting to settle a little bit. But if we go over these games, we can start with the Saturday games. It did seem like there was a little bit of an adjustment throughout.
Buffalo is now 1.5 This was Pick'em and 1 yesterday. Wow, Pinnacle. If that's accurate, the feed says Pinnacle's got Buffalo at 2.5. That's a little high. It feels high. And considering where the market's at, Circa's got a pick. Westgate, South Point have 1. For Pinnacle to be at 2.5, that's a very telling move. And then Odds Logic does a really good job with the money and tickets. Look at the money, 88% on Denver, 83% on Denver, but the line is moving toward Buffalo. So that'll be something we obviously will follow all week long because this is a Bills show. Seattle now off the 7 at a ton of places, did open 7. Here's your opening column right here. So Seattle opened 7, Denver pick. The Rams actually opened 4.5 at DraftKings. But we see now a lot of 7.5s in this game. So Sam Darnold, Smith and Jigba, that defense definitely getting the early support, 7 to 7.5. But I had asked you in our Sunday night show, you lay in the wood with Sam Darnold?
Not a touchdown, not over a touchdown now. How about this? Would you tease Seattle under a field goal, -1.5? And then you pair it with what you want. I don't think Denver at home. I know this is definitely a Bills show, but if you get past that touchdown, Denver at home, I mean, isn't that a pretty good teaser leg?
I don't think Buffalo is going to blow them out. As somebody who needs Buffalo to win, I don't think blowout. Their corners are so good. Their secondary is solid. Now you can pick on Riley Moss. Everybody knows that. But Surtain is going to shut down whoever the Bills trot out there at wide receiver 1, and maybe it's Keon Coleman. I did see a funny tweet yesterday. Somebody said that Brandon Beane was playing chess, not checkers, because while Surtain's an eraser and he takes out your wide receiver 1, he goes, well, the Bills don't have a wide receiver 1.
It's
chess, checkers. Well, they're going to go Shakir in the slot, and that's not what Surtain – are you going to put Surtain in the slot? I don't think that's the move.
No, and going into that Bills game, didn't it feel like Kincaid was probably going to be the receiver that ended up having the biggest game and it ended up being Shakir?
Yeah. So Buffalo, the early push, Seattle, the early push. We discussed on Sunday night, Chicago from 4.5 to 4 and now 3.5 all over the yard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're 3.5 at Chris, Pinnacle, South Point, MGM, DraftKings, FanDuel, Paradise, BetOnline, Buckeye, Jazz, all 3.5. A couple 4s. But the Bears money is real. I was surprised you weren't going to say Caleb and company up, but I think you've already chronicled the best Bears bet is just the second half over, which is now 8 for its last 8, correct?
I don't love teasers in games that I think we could get 70 points in.
That's fair.
And that's certainly one of them. Can the Rams blow them out? Yes. Can the Rams lose outright? Yeah, they can. I mean, they've lost to some bad teams this year. The Bears are not a bad team at all. At home, in that environment, look at what this Rams defense has been giving up. They almost lost to the Panthers for the second time. So, yeah, I don't love getting involved in teasers with games that I expect to be shootouts, and I do expect that one to be a shootout. This is Chicken Dinner. Joe Ostrowski, Sam Panayotovich with you. Don't forget Instagram as well, at betchickendinner. Subscribe on YouTube, the betchickendinner page. Keep on adding, subscribing, the comments, thumbs up on the YouTube pages. We love it. And I know you've got the Beacon link pinned over on Twitter at chickenxdinner. And that's where they can find the link to the merch, right?
Yeah, let's just show you that one more time. So I'll share this tab if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, I will do my best audio play-by-play. You go to our Twitter, chickenxdinner. There's a link right there that says beacons.ai/chickendinner. You click that link, and it will bring you to our portal, basically. So this allows you to view every link and every platform we have. There's the latest podcast, which I did not update because I went to bed at 4 a.m. last night. So I got to get on that. But there are the links to everything, the YouTube, merch, Apple, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, tip sheet. You can find it all. Just click that link in our Twitter page, Chicken X Dinner.
We are learning, folks. I just learned late last night. Oh, I think I know how you post the video over on Spotify. So It's early January. This thing just started. We are hammering out a few of the details. Let's hammer out these Super Bowl lines. All right, top of the board. It's the Seahawks and the Rams in some order. How do they have it? How about the team that did not play last week, the team coming off a bye? Most spots are putting Seattle as your Super Bowl favorite at plus 300. Looks like that's the best price. Okay. The Rams right there. So they're neck and neck. They're plus 320. Then we get to the Buffalo Bills, plus 600. Patriots right behind them, plus 650. Then it's Denver, 8-1. And then we move on. Then it goes down to Chicago and San Francisco in that 16-1, 20-1 range. Interesting is the conference, Sam. It is like they're all so tight in the AFC. It's Buffalo 250, New England 250, Denver 270. I guess it's a three-way coin flip, and a little bit different on the NFC side, but clear advantage: Seattle, LA Rams, and then Chicago, San Francisco. Obviously, the big dogs going into the weekend.
I don't think there's a bet I would make, to be honest with you, and everybody knows what I have. So it's difficult for me to have this conversation and really like anything or certainly love anything. I did, though, to the conference conversation, I got a DM Monday morning that I responded to because I usually respond to listeners and people that are trying to pick my brain or pick your brain. I know you do the same thing. Somebody asked me, "Do you still like the Bills?" ? And I thought,
have you listened?
You must be new here, but it's okay. And it wasn't that question. It was more so we got there. It was, should I bet Buffalo at plus 230 to go to the Super Bowl?
AFC. Okay.
And I said, look, you're not getting a great price by any stretch. And the time to do it was before the first win, because now you're going to see a lot of casuals and rec bettors react to the Josh Allen final drive and go, I like him. I want him. So now you're not going to give Buffalo away if you're behind the counter. The books weren't doubting Josh Allen, but they weren't shaving it either. Like if Kansas City was dealt the same path Buffalo was, Kansas City would have been 6 or 7-1, not 12-1. But when that first comeback drive and that first playoff fourth quarter finish happens, it does tend to cloud people's judgment, or it gets them excited about Buffalo. Hence why I'm getting DMs. Do we like Buffalo at plus 250? Personally, I would not bet it. But I'm also I'm not betting Denver. I'm not betting New England.
Exactly.
There's not a future bet that I like in the conference or the Super Bowl market. I saw Portnoy this morning put out a post. Oh, I want to bet the Bears-Patriots exact Super Bowl. I'm like, where were you in August? That was the time to bet it, when the win totals were 8.5, 8.5, or 8.5 and 9.
Oh.
What do you think a Bears-Patriots exact Super Bowl matchup paid in the summer? It had to be 300-1. It had something like that. I don't know what it was, but now it's 22-1, and I'm just not betting that.
How about our guy that we had all season on Wednesday mornings? Patriots, Packers. Oh, if they just hold on to the lead. How about so they're going to give LaFleur an extension? Are you kidding me?
Have fun with that.
Okay. I know not to waste anybody on the Packers next year. Don't tell me about, Kraft's going to be healthy. Micah Parsons is going to be healthy. I know who the head coach is. I'm not interested. They're going to be an immediate cross-off. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win the division again, but I'm not interested in Packers futures. No thanks. Seattle, LA, to your point about what you're not interested in, yeah, I do think the Seahawks or the Rams could win the Super Bowl. There is a short list of teams that can do that in my mind, and I think you're on the same page. But I also have no interest in either of those teams at 3-1. Divisional round, NFC Championship, and the Super Bowl. They still need to win 3 more games, and I'm only getting 3-1. I actually do think there's a little bit of value on the Bills at 6-1, or Josh Allen 7-1 for Super Bowl MVP, which we can get into. But let me follow up with you because I just threw my opinion out there. I do think the list of teams that can win the Super Bowl, even though I do believe it's a wide open year, and I've been consistent with that. But now that we're here, I don't like New England. I don't like Denver. I don't like Chicago. I don't like San Francisco to win the Super Bowl. I don't like these teams to win the Super Bowl. I do think the list is 3. How about you?
I said it was 3, and then the Eagles got knocked out. So I'm
you had 2.
Well, I did say last week, I was like, if you gave me the first 3 picks in a Super Bowl draft, I was going Buffalo, LA, Philly. And I don't erase my predictions. I just move on. I don't also change my predictions either. So I'm not going to add another team. Like, that's not going to happen. So I'm in that Buffalo, LA camp. But here's what you want to do if you're looking to make a bet on something like that. And I'm going to give you 2 examples. So DraftKings has a market on name the finalists. And there's the bet that Portnoy was talking about, 22-1, Patriots and Bears. I'm not saying bet it. I'm just showing you. But if you're like me and you believe in Buffalo and Los Angeles, DraftKings is giving you 7-1. Okay? Now, if you go over to FanDuel and you do a parlay with the Bills to win the AFC and the Rams to win the NFC, boom, you get 742. So you get 42 extra cents per dollar on just making the same bet at the right place. You get 7-1 here and you get 742 there. I assure you, Rams Bills is not the only place that has a disparity in price when you're hooking these things together. You have to be checking these things. If they give you a listed market, Team A against Team B, you have to look at the parlay for Team A to win the conference and Team B to win the conference, because sometimes you can find these Easter eggs and you can get a better price on your investment.
Are you saying you are scratching Seattle out because of Darnold?
I haven't said it, but that's being thought about. Yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. And maybe that's not fair. I don't care.
Well, then prove him wrong, right? That's you're going to have another opportunity, Sam Darnold. We'll see what happens this weekend. Super Bowl MVP. Wanted to get into this a little bit, throw some names out there, get a feel for it, and start to look at some of these numbers. If you look at the last 3 years, all quarterbacks. Hurts last year, Mahomes, Kupp, Brady, Mahomes. That's the last 6 years. If we go since 2010, that is 16 Super Bowls, 12 quarterbacks, 2 receivers. So that would be Edelman and Kupp, and then 2 linebackers. I think the last linebacker was Von Miller. Now that's, a decade ago already when he won that Super Bowl for the Broncos. And I was on the air with Barry Rosner that morning on the Score previewing it, and he called it. He called a shot, and that the day of the game, he was 12-1, the best pass rusher in the league, Von Miller, that year. So I went into it thinking, okay, my list is 3. Maybe it's longer for those watching, listening. My list is 3, and the 3 quarterbacks, the numbers of the teams that I do think can win it: Stafford plus 430. Darnold is only plus 490.
That's crazy.
That's the best price too, Sam. That's the best in the market, plus 490. Josh Allen plus 700. How does that make sense? Allen is 7-1, and Darnold, you can't even get a 5 on him. So with those 3 teams, I started thinking about other players on those teams. Okay, if Seattle wins, if it's not Darnold, who can it be? JSN certainly comes to mind, 18-1. I think that's a pretty good number if you think Seattle can make it. Puka, better, 22-1. And I also considered, okay, could a Rams defensive player do it? Like, who's going to be a playmaker if they get to the Super Bowl? Now, most likely it's a higher scoring game because that's what the Rams are. But we've also seen them in low scoring games, low scoring Super Bowls. For me, Jared Verse came to mind. I looked him up. He was 175 to 1. There are some teams that would win with defense. Like Denver would probably win with defense, but I don't have them winning the Super Bowl. So I didn't go down that road. But those are a few names. The receivers there, as dominant they've been, JSN, Puka, I think those are pretty good numbers for the top two favorites for the Super Bowl.
If you don't have Bill stock, I think this is the bet. Josh Allen, 7-1, plus 750. I'm showing DraftKings right now that has 7-1. And you mentioned yesterday there's a book that has 550 on the Super Bowl. It's very difficult for me to envision the Bills winning the Super Bowl and they hand the trophy to somebody else because, as I've said, for months, they're not winning unless he plays an A game. However, I'm surprised you didn't bring this guy up. He is, let's see, I have the range here. He is 35-1 at FanDuel. He is 55-1 at DraftKings.
Whoa.
He is 80-1 at BetMGM. That is Bills running back James Cook.
Yeah. I mean, what you just said, that statement you made a moment ago, is exactly why I didn't even look his name up. I find it hard to believe Bills lift the Lombardi and they're not giving it to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's a big number. It's a big number for a reason. Maybe it's worth it. So if he gets, what would he have to do? 3 touchdowns?
I don't know, because I've told the story on Chicken Dinner and Bet Sweats about my buddy C-Ray, who bet James White in the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl at 125-1, dude.
Sam, I had one of those hundreds.
I mean, how does that guy not win? He had 110 yards. He had 29 on the ground. He scored 3 touchdowns.
I know.
And didn't he score the game-winning conversion?
Yes. Didn't matter. I was beside myself. Now, did a part of me think while I was getting ready to watch, okay, who's the MVP going to be? I just kept seeing people say Brady, social media Brady, people I'm with Brady. I'm like, did you watch what James White just did? Like, it was the dream scenario. But that's why I say maybe that's a big number for a reason, because it might not matter what he does. If they win, if they put up a lot of points, the quarterback that got them there is going to get all the credit.
James White, 6 carries, 29 yards, 14 catches, 110 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did not win Super Bowl MVP. Or he had the 2-point conversion to tie the game, and then he scored the game-winning touchdown. That's what happened. Patriots
fans that are friends of mine say it's fucking bullshit. That was Allen's.
Like, I felt bad. And I think Colin had $10 on it or $20 on it. Not to unit shame, but if you're betting, $10 at 125-1, you should win that bet when the guy gives you a stat line like that.
Yeah. I forgot if it was going to be 5 or 10 grand for me, but it was going to be one of those. It was a while ago. It sucked. Boy, I haven't thought about the NFL awards. Like, that's kind of looming too. I got to get one of those home. I think JSN, OPOY.
He should get there. I'm not going to have any. I only really made one this year, and that was McCaffrey, offensive player, which had a chance late in the season, but it's not going to get there. I apologize for that. We did hit Barkley last year at some big numbers. That was cool. I didn't make any MVP bets. I didn't make any defensive player bets. I didn't make any coach bets this year. I didn't corner the market like our guy. I didn't corner it. And I also know that the markets are all off the board. Like, you can't bet any NFL awards right now. So I do think for somebody that's on the outside looking in and you'd like to be a part of this Buffalo thing, which could be very exciting, could also end in Denver. I have no idea. What you see is what you get. Josh Allen's going to have to be Superman in the fourth quarter. And the cape was on and the cape was flying against Jacksonville. If it's not, we're going to lose. But if you're looking for an MVP bet, I would bet him 7-1, 750, and not bet the Bills at 556-1 because I feel like it's the same bet.
That's a good number at 7. I want to say it was 12 on Sunday morning before the game. So I thought it was going to be cut even more. And that's a pretty good number. And I think it's a joke, some of the players that are shorter than him. An absolute joke for Darnold to have a shorter number. But we know why, because Seattle is a bigger favorite to win the Super Bowl. All right.
Home field. Seattle's got home field too. But Allen, if the Bills get there, Allen's going to be plus 115.
Yep. Maybe against San Francisco. They'd be the home team.
Well, at that rate, you'd have, because the Bills would be favored in that game. Mm-hmm. Allen would be minus 130, minus 140 to win the MVP.
Yeah, if it's not one of those top two favorites. If you have a play, if you have a number that you're looking at right now during this conversation, Super Bowl MVP, a bet you've made or maybe you're thinking about, put in the comments over on YouTube at betchickendinner. Remember to give us a thumbs up over there. All right, Sam, rest of the week, tomorrow for the Wednesday chicken dinner, I'll be with Horvey, and I want to see if he's all bent out of shape about LaFleur, if he's still upset about the Packers. It looks like his son is a turncoat. I want to see if he kicked him out of the house. He sent me a picture. He was wearing a Caleb Williams jersey, his son. Horvey's kid is awesome. And then we're going to have a new episode previewing the divisional round. I think we're going to have some excellent guests coming up on Thursday, correct?
Yes, we will. We're working on a couple of things here. We're going to tape that one Wednesday and air it hopefully like 11 o'clock midnight heading into Thursday, so you can have that on Thursday. And talking with Corby later today, I believe Corby's Corner will be here before you know it. So there are people that have definitely been asking about Corby and when he's coming back. The guy's a homeowner now. The guy's getting married. He's got a lot of things going on.
What?
Yeah, man.
He's getting married?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yep. But Corby's Corner will be here very soon because I have been so behind on college basketball.
Same.
And that used to be my number one. I used to announce college basketball for several years. I was always up on it. I was always ready to eat and cut my food at Maui. We're talking Thanksgiving. It's January 12th. I'm so behind, but Corby will straighten all that out, and we will have some college basketball content down the pipe.
All right, good. I'm looking forward to checking that out as well. I'll say it for you this time. Go Bills.